Hello everyone, and today I'll be reading a Lyney listener by me. So let's get into it. Lyney had no idea that you could be so careless. But apparently, life had its own ways of just telling him things. And it was not always in the nicest ways, of course. The two of you had met 5 months ago, and it was the best day in his life. It was a day that would change his life forever. He didn't know that then, but his heart kept thinking of you. His mind fixated on that voice of yours, and how you seemed back then. And he knew he had to find you again, and when he did, he told you, straight away, that he was interested in you. And of course, it did startle you a little bit, but eventually, you told him you wanted to date him as well. He was pretty, charming, kind, patient, everything you'd ever wished for. So no wonder you were kind of into him as well, at the very start, without him needing to do much, and without you needing to do the same either. So the two of you continued on with this relationship, hoping to satisfy the other, to give each other a reason to continue on with this. And soon enough, you were attached at the hip, and he was very, very in love with you. He had no idea how much control you had over him, until he just knew that he could not spend a day without you, or at least without thinking of you. You were something he was addicted to at this point, and there was no way for him to recover. So he just gave in, entirely, giving you his heart and soul, knowing that you'll take good care of them. He didn't know that things could end up badly, not when they looked so cheerful at first. But when he got news of you getting injured and getting sent to the hospital, his heart dropped, and he was in there in mere minutes, leaving all that he had to do behind. He asked the doctor how you were, and he was told that you were in surgery. So he kept waiting there, outside, no matter how many people told him to rest, no matter how many times he was told that you would be okay, and it was time for him to just go home and come back when he could. He knew he had to be there by her side. You needed him to be there when you woke up, and he was not going to leave you alone. He wasn't going to risk it. And as soon as he heard that your surgery was successful, relief flooded his heart. And he was happy, even if for a moment, because then you had to wonder whether or not there were any side effects of what happened. So, he had entered your room, sitting by your bedside, and hoping that you'll be alright. At first, he was a little bit scared, but then he began to talk to you, read you books, kiss your hair, and run his hands through it. It will be alright, darling. It will be alright, Ryan. I'll make sure of it. I'll be right here. You have to trust me. You have to get up for me, okay? He says. His voice is trembling, his face wavering. Will you come back to him again? Will you be okay? Many questions were in his mind, and he had no answers. And it scared him, the uncertainty of this entire situation. But then, your fingers twitched in his hand, and he smiled, hope returning to him. You'll be okay, darling. I'm sure of that. And days passed, but it was not even a week before you woke up. He was sleeping on the chair next to your bed, a book in his lap, and you looked quite tired. And then you reached out rather weakly, holding his hand. Lyney, you whispered, and he immediately woke up, his eyes going wide. Oh, Lion, you're awake. I'm so glad. What happened? Did someone hurt you? How did this even happen? Well, it's kind of complicated and very stupid. You tell him, suppressing a giggle, and any other time he would have laughed with you. But he just sighed, kissing your palm. Well, I don't want you being silly like this again. I know that's what you call yourself, and it's fine. Perfectly fine with me, Mayan. But not when it comes to your health. You could have... Something bad could have happened to you. You could have gotten... I don't know. I don't want to think about it. But now you're here, and you're okay. And I don't want this to happen again. He tells you. And you look at him for a moment, trying to analyze how he may be feeling. You can tell he's been worrying over you for days now. And you're worried just how lonely you felt, how scared you may have been. You know you would have probably fared off way worse had you been in his position. I promise you, Lyney, I'll do my best. I'll take care of myself. You trust me, don't you? You ask him, and he smiles softly at you. I trust you, Ion. I always have. I just wish you could take better care of yourself. That's all I'm saying. And I promise you, I'll do my best. You can trust me on that. You tell him. And he does. He just hopes that you remember your word, and once you get out of there, you keep it. Because he knows his heart cannot handle anything like that again. And especially not soon. And if he's a little bit overprotective once you get out, don't blame him. Try to be patient with him. He's worried, and he's scared that something bad may happen to you, and that he could prevent it and he'll just mess up. He wants to be there. He wants to protect you as much as possible, and you understand that. Although, you may have a fight or two about it, but in the very end, it will all be alright, because you will stick through together. Through thick and thin, you'll be with each other.